Hi, welcome to Chicharuba Yoga and Fitness. I'm Laura Wilson, and I show you ways to modify yoga poses so that everybody can find a way to work out. And today we're going to do a nice easy yoga class for total beginners. So if you've never done yoga before, this is the place for you. Those of you who have done it before, of course, you know that it doesn't matter how easy it might seem. There's always something new that we can get out of looking at our poses in a different way. So please join me today. If you like the channel, please subscribe. If you like the video, hit that thumbs up underneath. And let me know if you would prefer to have more yoga, more beginner, intermediate, or advanced yoga classes here on the channel. I'm doing this here for you, so let me know what it is you want. We're going to begin standing. And this is our mountain pose. Pressing our feet into the floor, stacking our joints. So from our ankles, we want to stack our knees, hips over knees, shoulders over hips. Let's also draw our shoulder blades together, press them toward the floor, allowing our fingers to just relax, closing our eyes for a moment, and just checking in with our body, taking note of anything that we feel anywhere in our body. Remembering that in yoga, we want to take care of ourselves. It's about healing. Not pushing ourselves to a horrible limit, but listening to our body and stopping when it says that's enough. Let's start with a 3-part breath. So we're going to inhale, filling up our belly, feel our rib cage expand and our heart lift. And with our exhale, our heart will lower, our ribs contract, and our belly come back in. So we inhale, filling up our belly, ribs, heart. Exhaling heart, ribs, and belly. We can also think of yoga as a little selfish. We don't want to worry about what anyone else might be doing if we take a class. We just want to find our own version of our poses. Let's add a little movement to this 3-part breath. So with our inhale, we're going to reach our hands up. Exhale, bringing our hands together at our heart. Inhaling out and up, exhaling to our heart. We call this flowing mountain. Let's bring our hands to our heart, and we're going to shift our hips back just a little bit today. Make sure that it is our hips that are moving. We can bring our hands to our thighs. Now let's just inhale here, nice and tall. Exhale, shifting our hips back. Inhale as we lift. Exhale as we press. Let's bring this up, separate our feet a little bit, circle our hips. Both ways. So we're just going to go nice and easy through some basic poses today. Let's begin with a half forward fold. Hinging at our hips, reaching our hands back. And we're going to inhale up, exhale halfway forward and hold for a breath. Then inhale up, exhale halfway forward for a breath. Let's inhale up, and this time we'll exhale into a full forward fold. Allowing our head to come forward. And we'll take our hands to the floor, stepping back to hands and knees. And again, stacking our joints. That means hips over knees, shoulders over wrists. And we're going to do a cat and cow flow. So let's exhale and find our cat pose, like those black cats at Halloween. Arch our back up. And then we're going to inhale, bringing our heart forward, lifting our tailbone. So exhaling as we tuck it under. Inhale, opening up. And let's bring our spine to neutral. That means roughly parallel to the floor. We're going to turn our elbow creases forward and just do a little push-up action here. Taking this back to child's pose, letting our bottoms come to our feet. We can stack our fists and rest our head on our top fist. This is a restorative place, a resting place. Finding those 3-part breaths. While we're in child's pose, let's extend our hands overhead, walking our fingers out and away from each other, shoulder distance. And we're going to shift forward and bring our shoulders over our fingers, keeping our knees lined up with our hips. This is a kneeling plank. So let's just open up our shoulder blades here, lifting our spine. And from here, we're going to press our hips back and up, letting our ears come between our arms. We call this one downward facing puppy pose. And we're going to come forward again, shoulders over wrists for that plank. If you're feeling it, let's tuck our toes and lift our knees. And when we're done with this, you can always lower down to your knees to child's pose, or take that puppy that we just did, or we can look at downward facing dog, lifting everything up. Shoulder blades still separating, drawing toward the floor, tailbone lifting up, and just kind of walk this a little bit. And one more time, let's come forward to our plank. Again, we can be on our knees since this is yoga for beginners. Finishing up with child's pose or downward dog. Again, take whatever pose you're feeling. That's what yoga, with me at least, is all about. Finding the pose or the variation of the pose that works best for our own body. Let's bring this together, standing forward fold. And we're going to inhale up to our mountain. So back to this mountain. Let's find that 3-part breath. We've done a little bit of movement now, so maybe we're breathing a little heavier than we were, feeling energized, maybe a little moist. That's the whole idea. So let's just look at a basic pose now. From our mountain pose, we'll slide our left foot back, keeping a lunge in our right knee for warrior 1. Depending on how our shoulders feel, we might prefer to take our warrior 1 with our hands at our heart. But either way, we want our weight even on both feet. We want to follow the line of our back foot. This is easier on this hip and knee if we orient ourselves to the corner of our mat, corner of our room. And we're going to bring our hands to our hips and straighten our front leg. And let's hinge about halfway forward. Maybe our spine will come parallel to the floor. Wherever we are, we should be able to breathe fully. Let's let our right hand just swing down, and wherever it lands, place it on our leg. We can keep a slight bend in our knee, turn our left toes out, and let's lift our left shoulder to the ceiling. We can extend open through the arm. Just make sure you're not reaching way back. And sometimes it just feels better to let our hand rest at our hip. Let's unwind this and fold a little further maybe, making our way back to warrior 1. Stepping our way up to mountain. We're just going to slide our right foot back this time, opening ourselves up, even distribution of weight, following our right foot this time toward the corner of our room. And bringing hands to our hips, let's straighten our left leg and just come quarter of the way, halfway forward. See if we can get our spine parallel to the floor. Still breathing. Letting our left hand rest on our leg, right shoulder to the ceiling. And again, if we reach up, just don't reach your arm way back. It should be straight out of wherever the shoulder is, if we're reaching it up at all. This way we can focus on that movement of our shoulder and not have to worry about our arm. And let's unwind and fold into our full pyramid, whatever that is. Making our way up to our mountain, or warrior 1 first, then mountain. Let's take it back to those hip circles. both ways. And we're going to take it to a standing balance pose now. We're just going to stick with our basic pose, tree. Let's shift our weight to our right foot. We're going to turn our left knee way out. So first variation is toes can stay down, or we can place our foot on our calf, keeping it below our knee. Hands wherever it works for you. These are our limbs, so you can make whatever kind of tree you want. Hold them onto the wall, whatever works. One of the nice things about yoga is it incorporates balance. Let's go ahead and come down, shift our weight over, turn our right knee out, and again, we can keep toes down. We can bring this to our calf. And just notice how each side is different. Usually, oops, see? Due to whatever is going on with us. Let's release from there, shake it all out. We're gonna come to the floor now. So let's inhale, reach our arms up. Exhale, forward fold. We'll step back to hands and knees. And let's stay up on our knees for just a moment. We're gonna come to camel pose. So we're gonna lift up. If you need some extra padding, put that under your knees. We're going to tuck our toes, and we're going to make easy fists that we place on our bottoms. So we're just going to focus on lifting our head to the ceiling, rolling our shoulders back, opening our heart. If we're feeling it from here, we can reach up and a little further back into a back bend. So this is easy yoga for beginners. We'll hold here. Let's press through our navel to lift up. Hands and knees. Let's bring our big toes together and separate our knees out as wide as we can get them for a wide knee child's pose. We should be able to fit right down there between them. Again, we can stack our fists, rest our head on the floor. Whatever helps us feel restored and rested. This is also a little bit of a hip opener with our knees out like this. And we'll make our way up to having a seat. So we'll begin in what's called easy seat. Usually we have our legs crossed, one in front of the other. We want to find our sit bones on the floor, stack our spine, shoulders over hips. Let's take a few deep breaths here. And let's take one leg out to the side. And we're actually going to turn ourselves over that leg and just walk our hands out a little bit. We're letting our heart go toward our knee, feeling a stretch to the back of this leg. Lifting ourselves up. This time we're going to go sideways. So let's reach our hand to the ceiling, slide our other hand toward our foot. So inhale, reach up. Exhale, slide over. You get to a point where you can't go any further, so just keep inhaling up, exhaling over. Let's bring that up, and we're going to come to bound angle, where we're going to bring the soles of our feet together, pressing our elbows into our thighs, and then we're going to hinge forward, bringing our heart toward the camera. And maybe even a little lower, it depends. We can keep pressing our elbows into our thighs. Each of us is going to be different in this pose. Let's go ahead and sit up. We're going to take this out to the other side. And again, angle ourselves over our leg, let our heart go toward our knee. We want to find a place where we can breathe. We want to feel a stretch. It should feel uncomfortable. If it's painful, we want to back up a little bit. Exhale, release. Let's lift up from here, reaching our hand to the ceiling again. Inhale, reach up. Exhale, slide over. Until you get where you can't slide anymore. Inhale up, exhale over. Just feeling that side stretch. Let's come back to an easy seat. Let's take our hands forward and we're going to reach up overhead. So just feeling our shoulders here, forearms and wrists. If they're feeling up to it, let's press our hands forward, palms forward, and then see how high up we can get our hands. Awesome. Let's bring that back down. And we're going to look at our front foot. For me, it's the left. We're going to extend the right hand up, lengthen through our spine, and we're going to take this hand around to the outside of our thigh. Other hand on the floor right near our bottom to keep our spine reaching for the ceiling, and then we'll look out over our shoulder. Easy twist. Let's unwind from this, switch our front leg. So now I've got the right one in front, so I'll lift my left hand up, lengthen the spine, keep it reaching up as we take this hand to our thigh, other hand by our bottom, looking over our shoulder. And again, those of you more experienced at yoga, just pay extra special attention to what you feel in each pose. Let's unwind from here, and we're going to roll all the way down to the floor. So let's keep our legs out straight. We're going to bend one, take support underneath the knee, tuck our tailbone, and then let ourselves just roll back. Once we're here, we can hug our knees and rock side to side. I like to just kick it all out. But we're going to go ahead and bring our feet to the floor, taking this to a bridge pose. Hands by our side. We're going to walk our feet back and out until we touch our fingertips to our heels, and then we're going to press our heels into the floor, lifting our hips to the ceiling. This is an excellent place for that 3-part breath. And let's drop this down, extending our feet to the ceiling where we can flex and point. Well, let's go ahead and cross one leg over the other. We're going to reach our hands straight out, hold on to our thighs, and hug this in. We want this bent knee in closer than the foot. So we're getting a little inversion here, which is drawing fluids and blood back out of our feet in toward our heart. At the same time, we're stretching through this hip. Let's take this up, and we're going to switch sides. So crossing that other leg over, again drawing in the knee closer than the foot, keeping the foot relaxed. Extending our feet back up to the ceiling. Let's hug this in, and again rock it. That feels good. And then with our knees squeezing together, let's open our arms wide, dropping this all the way over to the right, letting our knees come all the way down. And then we want to wiggle so that our left shoulder is back on the floor. And you might feel a little pop of your spine here. Sometimes this is all you need instead of a chiropractor. And we want to breathe as deeply as we can in our twists. Let's draw this back up. Again, we can rock here. As we're ready, we'll squeeze our knees together, open our arms. Let's drop all the way over to the other side. And again, that other shoulder likes to pop up. Let's get it back down. Making sure to breathe. knees back up. And we're going to take this to our final relaxation pose, which we normally do Shavasana. And that means corpse pose. The idea is to stretch our legs out, but you can always keep knees bent, hands on our belly by our side, wherever. Closing our eyes. And the goal of Shavasana is to remain completely still. People laugh when I say this is usually the hardest pose for most people, because most people just cannot be still. So let's just let our legs release, let go any tension in our arms, feel our belly and chest soften, releasing any tension in our neck and jaw, softening the muscles of our face, and just being still as possible for a few moments. Our goal is stillness in body, stillness in mind. See if we can clear our mind of any thoughts. And we can always hold this as long as we need to get that refreshment, rejuvenation. Just remember, the longer you stay in Shavasana, the longer you should take to come out of it. We usually begin by wiggling our fingers and toes, and then moving through our arms and legs, making our way to whatever stretch movement our body feels. Remember, take your time here. We can roll over to one side. We never want to just pop up off the floor real fast. So just take your time, using our top hand to push up. And we'll come back to an easy seat or whatever is comfortable for you. Sometimes our knees prefer to be out. So just find whatever's comfortable. We're going to sit tall. Close our eyes, go back to where we started, and just see how our body is feeling. And I want to thank you again for joining me today. Please do subscribe to the channel. Ask your friends to subscribe as well. Hit that little thumbs up button if you liked this video, and make sure to let me know in the comments if you would prefer more of these beginner workouts, or if you would like some intermediate or advanced yoga here on the channel. Thank you, and I'll see you next time.